Well, I'll tell you, you're at the place to be. There's no other place to be except for here. Is there any other place to be except for tonight, y'all? Let's hear it! Let's hear it! Woo! Aren't we here?
What did you like about the bands tonight?
Damn, the music.
But what about the music?
Damn, guitars blaring. Awesome.
So do you think that you're going to come away from tonight a changed man?
Oh, hell yeah.
In what ways?
Knowing that out there is something crazier than me.
I think that punk rock can be used for good.
Yeah, it's great. It's fun.
But I mean, like, to deliberate.
Yeah, definitely it can.
Message.
It can.
Yeah.
I don't know about social messages or, but just the whole fact, you know, like lots of punk bands won't play, you know, unless it's all ages, you know, $5, you know, and that's really good, you know. Do it for the kids. Fucking kids.
I definitely think punk rock is a positive thing, because I guess when you first get into those bands I was talking about, like Ramones and Sex Pistols and all those kind of bigger bands that draw you in, they are definitely different than other mainstream bands. But I mean, now they're pretty much mainstream bands themselves. They're different in the fact of, if nothing else, at least their attitude seems to be different, and thus that opens you to some different ideas, and that, like, you can just be a loser and buy a guitar or find a guitar and, like, put 6 strings on it and then go find some other losers with some broken instruments and be in a band, and that's all there is to it. You don't have to be, like, you know, do Eddie Van Halen guitar solos. So and that, yeah, it kind of started from there, that I felt there was other losers in the world besides me, and that made me feel good.
It's one of the rare forms of music where you can sort of predict most of the people who listen to it are pretty cool, as opposed to alternative music where it's just ex-hippies who like to do drugs and jocks and crap like that. So it's improved my life that way. And it's a nice outlet for like anger and things like that.
Oh no, I think this is the day of the smarter part.
kids who book shows are really like the backbone of the scene nowadays. If you want to, I don't know, DIY shows are really like what keeps things going and what keeps, you know, that's the scene where good bands, where bands who are sincere, that's the scene where they will go and play shows, you know. And those kids, like there was a kid in Montana who worked and booked all these bands and lost all this money, but he didn't give a shit because he was, you know, he was giving back to the community around there and giving back to the scene, and that was enough gratitude for him. And these kids in Ohio, you know, did the same thing. They just, if enough money wasn't made, they would pay out of their pocket, and so, you know, they didn't have to do that, and they did, and that's really admirable because, like I said, that's what makes shit happen, y'all.
My ideal punk show is like, there's this old picture of the New York Dolls for a show, and there was, I think it was when they still had their original drummer anyway. It was at the Dollhouse. There's no stage. There's no division between the audience and the band whatsoever. The band is here. The audience is in a circle around the band, like right there. Some of the people are actually in where the band's space usually is. So there's absolutely no division between spectators and spectacle and things like that. And there's just a sort of blending together of like the music and the attitudes and everything that goes with it. So that's what's ideal for me, is when the bands actually have enough of a sense of humor to include the audience in it, in the act of creation and music and things like that. Because it lets people in the audience know that what the people are doing in the band isn't some specialized activity that only geniuses can do or Kurt Cobains can do, and, you know, everything else that MTV valorizes. You know, like these rugged individuals that create their music out of nothing and don't need their audience and things like that. I think when kids can grab the microphone from a singer and sing some of the verses to a song or something like that, it lets them know that they can do the same thing, and that can go beyond music to anything, you know, just whether it be political action or art or anything like that. It lets you know that this activity isn't something specialized that's out of your reach or whatever, or beyond talent, and that you can participate in the act of creation too. And that's something really positive, and it's not something you get a lot, because if you just watch the news or whatever, it's just all about deifying certain personalities, you know, whether it's a Tarantino or an actor or whatever, but it's, you know, the rock star attitude that these people are somehow special and gifted and came out of the womb with these abilities and did it in complete isolation and deserve all the money they make, which they don't.
What's the most money that your band has ever made at a show?
I think we got $130 when we played at the Milestone one time with the Husbands. Boone in the house.
So what's the least amount?
Nothing.
No, I mean besides nothing.
I think we got paid $9 one time at Heretics.
You got $5 there one time.
$24, man, and the other guitar player took it when we kicked out. We had an old guitar player, Gail Ice. He ran off with that. $24.
We've been paid okay. I mean, we've been paid where we were like, I guess like $70 was the most we've ever made, and we were just like, what the fuck? We were like, what? $70? What we do with this? You know?
Oh, hey, we already fucked it all up. This is for girls, the girl who's supposed to be here. Okay, it's a real first song. This is Nice Guys. Well, my ancestors. What? Oh, shit.
Hey, this sounds like a cool...
nothing at all. And if Matt just want to come up here and sing with us, I'll just make my face. Oh, it was some song called Apple Fair. Check. Wow. Sorry. God damn, we're almost like a real punk rock band. People fucking shit up.
Have you ever been hurt at a punk rock show?
Hurt?
Yeah.
Probably. I was probably too drunk or stoned to remember though. I came home with some bruises and cuts and scrapes and stuff like that, but not a big deal. Nothing terrible.
Yeah, I got a black eye at the first punk show I went to. It was on New Year's Eve, and I was 12, and I got up to leave, and this guy was like slamming in the middle of the floor, and he threw his beer bottle back and knocked me in my face, and I passed out on the floor, and I woke up, and like there were 15 people in my face, and yeah, and it was so great. There was all these people in my face, and they were just like, is she dead, is she dead? And I wasn't dead, and I had to lie to my mom, because of course she didn't know I was going. I was 12, what was I doing at a punk show getting smashed in the face with a beer bottle? And I cracked a rib one time at a Ramones show a really long time ago.
Not really. The worst thing that ever happened was mostly just like getting beer poured all over. Well, actually, I did get hurt. I got beat up at when it was my birthday. Were you there? I got beat up by a bunch of people. That was pretty fun. They were throwing rocks at me, but never really hurt at a show. I'm old now and I don't participate as much.
No, I've been knocked down a lot. I'm usually always in the front or something when there are people dancing around and things like that, but I mean, people are usually so nice at the shows and things like that. They pick you up in that. I mean, they'll knock the hell out of you, but you don't get hurt.
Actually, I was playing one time and playing a show with the old band, SJA, and things kind of got out of hand, and someone threw a full plastic gallon jug of water and threw it right at my head and hit me square in the head. And I kind of went black for a second and saw stars and shit and thought, well, okay, that's the end of that show. And got up, but I don't regret being hit in the head with that gallon of water.
I got on the guest list at a Voodoo Glow Skulls show one time, and I was like, what the hell, it's free, I don't have anything else to do, so I'll go. And it was really, really violent, and it just goes to show you the assholes out there. There's a bunch of, like, I don't know, just a bunch of jocks, really, just a bunch of fucking dumb jocks that were grabbing their cocks and like running around and jumping on stage and grabbing their cocks and singing and then jumping off onto these little girls that were like standing in the front row and smashing them to pieces, and I don't know, I got kicked in the head there, and I don't know, it's a pretty crappy show. It was just really violent, and like, I don't know, it just didn't need to be that way. And somebody said something to the band, and one of the guys was like, well, if you don't want to get hurt, don't come to a show, or something stupid like that. So
this asshole of a guy pushed me in the back and shoved me down into the crowd, and I walked back up to him and I tried to tell him to stop, and he pushed me again with his knee this time. And then as I was coming back up to him, he went and pushed me again, so I grabbed his arm and I twisted behind him and told him to leave me alone. I was working back and shoved him, and that's when I realized it really hurt my back. So I went up to the top of the club and stepped down inside and lay down. his girlfriend came up there, apologized, and he came up there and apologized and said, you know, if you can't make it out to your car, man, I'll get my buddy, I don't know, some animal name like bull or moose or something. We'll carry you out there. So, yeah, I've hurt myself at clubs.
So you guys are the Style Kings, huh?
Yep.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. The Style Kings?
Kings? Yeah, man, you're supposed to say that with
It's in the form of a question.
Oh, the Style Kings?
There you go.
Yeah, it's like
So
the
that's
Style
sort
Kings.
of sarcastic.
Yeah. Well,
Look at us.
well, I told them when they joined that I'll put the style back in the style.
Yeah, look at your hip-hop hooray.
This is one called How Many Times Off the First Album. It's also off the new album, which is for sale for $1.
Again.
Yeah, you're also get a shirt for $5. All right, ready? How many times? Okay.
The Accidents, who rule. We're like tour mates with him, I guess. We play all the time with him. Automatic, he's a really good man. See, a lot of these bands are political. I'm in a lot of political bands, which is us. We have some political songs, because that's something I believe. SRC, who's breaking up, really, really, really makes me sad. They're a really good band, Richard and those guys. And Warden RNG blew me away when they played with us at the Milestone, which is a pretty good place to play. Automatic. This was something Mike gave me to wear. We had this friend whose dad was like a police chief, like drug enforcement agency, and his son like sold drugs and stuff. It's really funny. And that's just our patches we're making. We'll be giving those out tonight. Yeah, people wear those like yours.
Punk means so many different things. I think in the beginning it was just being dirty and loud and having lots of safety pins in your leather jacket. It means beer! It means beer! And it still means all those things. It still means being dirty and drinking beer and knocking into one another, but cheap beer. And cheap beer. But it's a lot more about, I don't know, to me, just I don't know how to express it. I think it's grown a lot, you know. It's a lot more mature. It's a lot more about just groups and getting things done, and you know, being active and social causes and whatnot. Or I think, anyway, with me it's not so much about, I don't know, being dirty and running into people, but I don't know, it's just me.
It's really about being aware, I think, and being aware that, like, you don't have to do anything any set way, that you can do it your way, DIY, you know. You can do it how you want to and whenever you want to, wherever you want to, and you may suffer consequences, but it still puts the mindset into you that you can do those things, and from there, it's kind of I don't know, led me into, I guess, some kind of, if you want to call it political activism, which I really don't like to call it that. It's more just like about being a responsible person, you know, as far as the actions you have. Definitely the things you do like affect our world, and if you're a dumb asshole, then, you know, the world's going to be a shitty place. You know, even like, you know, but if you're a nice person and considerate of other people, and you think about your actions and the things you buy especially, and things you support, well, then maybe you can make the world a little bit better place. And to me, that, I mean, honestly, it's just about being aware and I don't know, being aware.
We have no political affiliation. We have no political message.
We will not
We have
preach
no message whatsoever.
Politics
Rock and roll.
are fucking boring.
We will not preach.
Rock and roll, man.
Rock and roll is our beliefs.
So what do y'all think about all the bands that preach?
I think it's good to an extent, but
Don't let it
I'm
overtake the
just saying what I've read in every magazine ever, but they're just preaching to the converted.
If you want to preach in a zine or something, you know, when people go to see a band, they want to see music.
It's all right
it's
if you
all
want to
right
say
if you want to
something
say
for a minute
something,
or so, but don't take 5 minutes to explain your viewpoint on something.
But no offense
Because you're there to
to
rock.
any band that does that, because, you know, do your own thing, do what you want to do.
Yeah.
So how long have the accidents been around?
That's the man that. The accidents have been around for about a year.
Yeah, well.
That's with Greg.
And before that,
There's been other
the Crusties, and before that, we were focused on dope.
So I see.
Yeah.
And
I don't have any snappy answers for you.
a lot of the most exciting and interesting music that's being done right now is by girl bands predominantly. So like if you just to take a narrow example, if you look at the bands who are on Kill Rock Stars when it first started, the mostly girl bands, Bikini Kill or Heavens to Betsy or Bratmobile, not only is the lyrics just fucking great and in your face and fiery and angry, which is what the early punk was like, and it sort of cured of its old sexist capitalist overtones, but you get more interesting musical arrangements because like Heavens to Betsy only had 2 people in the band, so there'd be one person playing drums and one person playing guitar, one person playing bass, and then Bratmobile didn't have a bassist, they just had a guitarist, and the guitarist would just play on single strings, and the music was as interesting as the message. So that stuff is just fucking great, and it's good that that's out there because it makes feminism cool for young girls, and it makes them not feel out of place when they go to shows too, because there's nothing worse than going to a show for a girl, I imagine, and it's just 4 bands, all boys, boys in the audience just jumping around doing their thing. It's pretty alienating and makes you think that the punk scene's just as bad as any other form of entertainment in this racist, sexist, capitalist, patriarchal country.
Our band's kind of unique because it's half girls and half boys.
So how do you feel about being 2 girls in bands? Because there doesn't seem to be a lot of that. Maybe you were the first girl in the band around here anyway.
I don't feel too special because of that, though.
I think there should be more girls in bands, because I get mad when I go to shows and there's like 4 bands playing, and this happened before, and they're, all guys, like no girls even in the band at all. I think that's stupid.
So how much longer do you think that this band is going to last?
Till y'all die.
Until we've conquered everyone. Probably.
Probably about 2 weeks.
Or until we've conquered ourselves.
I'm already conquered.
Y'all ready? Audience ready? Give us more minutes. Give us more minutes. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are the Super Spies, and we are the new wave in British rhythm and blues. And if you were here last night, you might have noticed that P-Power Jobs ripped this next song off from us.
look at music as actually a way to express a lot of stuff you believe in, and a way to actually say stuff that I guess is important to you, I guess, in some ways or another.
Our songs may not be that important. Songs we learn in high school about dumb stuff, but the least we can do is talk about cool stuff in our songs. And influence people like you to start a dumb band like ours, because if we can start a stupid band, any of you guys can start a stupid band. It's way more important than this.
Why did you want to be in a band?
Because I saw the guy I was going to be in a band with the first time, don't remember his name, was brought over these videos to my roommate's house because he was friends with my roommate. Brought him over to our dorm room and played them, and it was just total chaos, just these kids up on stage, and the audience was all over the place, and just shit getting thrown all over the place, and everyone laughing their ass off and smiling and having fun, and it was amazing to look at. It looked like the most, exhilarating, fun thing I'd ever seen in my life, and I was just like, I got to do that. I just have to be able to be a part of something like that. And because like the first time you watched it, you actually had to ask who was in the band, because everyone was sitting up there and doing stuff, and it just looked like fun. It was something I'd never seen before, because before that I had gone to concerts which were big concerts, which means, G's up, hose down, band up here, audience on the bottom getting fucked over and things like that. And this was something completely different, and it was a lot more in tune with my sensibilities. So that was the big attraction, was just to be able to be part of something like that, and to be able to sing ugly songs that say everything's not all right when, every day you're just bombarded with the same old messages that things are good if you're rich and white.
Do you prefer the term punk or punk rock?
The term punk rock's a hell of a lot cooler than just punk, I think.
Would you call yourself a punk?
No.
A punk rocker?
No, not a punk rocker.
You're just a working man, huh?
Yeah, I'm just rock and roll.
You're a hippie?
I wouldn't even go so far as to call me rock and roll. I don't know what the hell I am.
Just an average man trying to get by, huh?
Oh, yeah.
You might recognize this one as no jazz standard. And we got Brian Man on the drums anyway. Let's go.
on TV.
Dancing with myself, dancing with myself. When there's nothing to do, and there's nothing to lose, I'm dancing with myself. Ow, ow, wow. Ow, ow, ow.